welcome to Discovering Your Future, a show geared at empowering women to be the best versions of themselves. I'm your host, Faith Saunders. Today's show is really talking about courage. That's what I would summarize what you did as courage. And my guest today is Robin Devine. And Robin is the author of a book that she wrote, which is a combination of her journey while she was homeless. And most of us, and honestly, I've been in a situation twice where I was almost homeless, and the last thing on my mind was traveling.
Right.
Panic sets in. I have to earn my money so that I can actually get myself out of this situation. Right. But what I found so unique was that instead of, I'm not sure, we'll talk about if you were panicked, but what I really found very intriguing and very courageous of you was that you took this journey, you took this as an opportunity to move forward. Robin's book is Road Trip to Freedom, From Homelessness to Happiness.
Yes.
And I was reading it last night in preparation for today's show, and it was so motivational, just reading some of what you experienced. And to me, it was courage, but it also was a leap of faith, no pun intended here.
Completely.
Yeah, in terms of what you did. So without any further ado, I want to welcome you again,
Thank you,
Robin.
Faith.
And my first question, and I know for my viewers who are watching, is what initiated this whole process of you becoming homeless?
It actually started, the trip I took was in 2012, but it began back in 2008 with the recession. The economy was crumbling, and I didn't lose my job, but our company had some cutbacks. So I was working pretty much double time, and I at one point burned out, and I said, I can't anymore, so I quit. And I said, I can find a job, I'm educated, it'll be easy to get back in the workforce. And it wasn't, because there were no jobs. So I found my 401k running out, my savings running out, and within 3 months, I had nothing left.
Wow.
So I took 3 or 4 years to keep trying to rebuilding, working jobs and saving up, and it wasn't quite working. So finally in 2012, it kind of all came to a head when I lost literally everything. I had nowhere to go and no home.
Tell me what that was like.
It was the most terrifying moment of my life because I was panicked and I had no clue what to do. So traveling wasn't my first thought. Yeah.
So how did you decide to go traveling? What happened there?
Well, I was talking to a friend and she was saying, whatever you've been doing up to this point hasn't really worked for you. So just make a totally different choice. Do something completely new. And so I'm not sure how I got to road trip being my different choice, but I said that would be my last thought to do. Take a trip, because it's not a good time. It's, need to be finding a job and working and building your life back. But I went for something a little bit different.
Okay.
So
you were, where were you? Were you in New Jersey?
I was in Virginia.
Oh, okay.
Staying with relatives.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So where was your first? So you decide, well, all right, I'm doing something new.
Yes.
I'm going to travel.
Yes.
And so how did you start preparing? What did you do?
There really wasn't any prep to do. I put all that I had, which was very little, in storage. And I got in my car and headed out. That was it.
Wow. And then where did you go first?
My first stop was I went to Maryland.
Okay.
Because that was my home base. So I really didn't have a stop there. I just wanted to be somewhere familiar. So I went there and I went to the Howard University Library to use their free library Wi-Fi. And I headed to social media, to Facebook. And I said, hey, I'm on this trip. If you all want to meet up or connect, let me know. And a few hours later, someone in New York said, I have a B&B. Come stay here for a couple days and relax. And that was my first stop, was B&B in the Adirondack Mountains.
Wow.
So
wow.
Yeah.
So what was that like? I want to I want to take our viewers and myself through
Yeah.
that journey with you, because this is I wish I had that type of courage, or I haven't found it as yet. But that's awesome. So
Thank you.
left from Maryland.
I left from Maryland. Yep.
And you went to New York.
To New York, to the Snow Goose Bed and Breakfast. My friend Amy, we're now good friends. And we hung out there and we talked and we connected, and that really got me set to go on this venture. Like I needed that time to just figure out and relax, and Amy gave me that space to do that.
Oh, wow.
So it was a gift.
Right.
Yeah.
So in terms of money, I'm always thinking, okay, where am I going to pay for gas? How am I going to do this? So how did that come in?
Also social media. I left with literally $20 to my name and a tank full of gas, and that was it. And so people that, I made a page on Facebook called Robin's Road Trip to Freedom. And people would follow what I was doing, and I would say, hey, I'm wherever, and I'm out of gas. If you want to PayPal me and put some gas in my car, that'd be great. And that was how I traveled, people's kindness.
Wow.
That was it.
And people literally sent you money?
They PayPal me, yeah. I mean, I would be stuck sometimes in places, and I'd have no gas, and I would just wait. And I would tell them, hey, I'm here. If you want to help me out. And it could be an hour, it could be a couple of days. And it just,
and
that
you
was...
weren't panicking at the time?
I was not panicking. I was not. Because I knew that no matter how long it took, or if it came at all or didn't come, it was going to be okay.
Wow.
It was always okay. I finally got that on the journey.
So so you had a sense of peace then?
Very peaceful, yeah.
Wow.
I'm not sure. I wish I knew how I got to that place, but it was like something clicked inside me. And I was like, okay, no matter what happens, no matter how it looks or feels or sounds, it's okay.
Wow.
That was very freeing.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you left from we're taking the trip with you right now.
Okay,
right?
all right.
So you left from New York with Amy.
Right? With Amy, yes,
right?
yes.
And you're on your way to?
I think from there, I went to Pennsylvania to another friend that I had met via Facebook, another Amy actually, and stayed there for a little while and had a meetup. And people came and we met up, and it was.
Tell me about the meetup.
The meetup,
focus of it and so forth.
Well, the meetup was people. I have to roll back a little bit here. A year before the trip, I made a page on Facebook called Choose Happiness, and it actually grew very quickly.
Okay.
And so a lot of the people that went on the trip with me virtually on the other page came from Choose Happiness.
Oh, okay.
So they kind of knew a little bit about me. And so when I would go to a place, I would say, I'm going to meet up here. If you want to connect, come here. And those were the meetups. People from that page were coming to hang out and connect, and it was great.
So people who lived in that area, were they physical people that
they
were virtual?
Physical people. We and that one it was small. It was maybe 3 or 4 people. But it was great. It was great
awesome.
just to put a face to the name and just talk, and it was a good time.
Wow.
So
it seemed that happiness is your theme in terms of, so why you chose the first title, the title of the page was Choose Happiness.
Yeah.
Was it because what was happening in your life at the time?
I was going through a really deep depression, and I couldn't find my happy anywhere out there. So I said, you know what, let me actually create a happy place. And I made that page for myself. I put songs there that I enjoyed and pictures and quotes, and all for me. And people just happened to join me there. And that was,
that's awesome.
That was my happy place.
So you were kind of building, without you even knowing, you were kind of building you're working on a journey that you didn't even know that you were on.
Had no clue.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So so you left from New York. I'm keeping up now.
Okay.
New York to
Pennsylvania.
All right. And then my question then is, what would you think was the greatest lesson you learned? One of the greatest lessons.
One of the greatest lessons. First was that I always have a choice.
Okay.
Because before I left for the trip, I felt like I was stuck. Like I didn't have any options on how I was going to fix it. I was just physically, mentally, emotionally in one place. And the truth is that I had a choice. I just couldn't see it. But my friend saying to me, do something different, really opened that up to me.
Wow.
So
we all have a choice. I think I love that. We all have a choice. Maybe we don't like the choices that we have, but there's still choices,
always
right?
a choice. You're never stuck.
Right.
Never, ever stuck.
So that's powerful.
Very much so.
That is so powerful because so often people, and even yesterday I was meeting with someone, and she said she felt so stuck. Yeah, she,
Yeah.
and it's not a nice place to be. It's like
No.
there's no way out.
I think that's why I couldn't see my options because the stuckness really put on blinders for me. So I was just focused on where I was. I couldn't see anything else.
Wow. So this kind of started to open up avenues and having you see different options for
Definitely.
yourself.
Yeah.
I'm going to take some time now to kind
Sure.
of read something from this book, because when I
Okay.
was going through it, I think this was really, really powerful. And I'm being honest, I didn't read the entire book, but
Okay.
I'm going to be reading it little by little. That's how I read.
It's a journey. The reading a book. So take a piece here, take a piece there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll get there.
But what I found on August 7th, 2012, you're in Virginia,
Okay.
and you wrote on Facebook, assume,
Yes.
fellow travelers, the blogging seminar in Chicago that I was waitlisted for just opened up. Wait, Chicago. That must be a sign. Harpo Studio, I'm on the way. To Oprah, man, here I come. All right? That's what you wrote.
Yes.
And that was the August 7th.
Okay.
I'm skipping some. August 8th, August 9th. I'm skipping over to August 12th. That's 4 days later.
Okay.
And you wrote, all I heard was the call to go. Are you sure, universe? Have you seen my PayPal account balance?
It's not good.
Go to Harpo Studio. In response to my inquiring mind, I heard go. Well, all right then. And you went off to Harpo Studio in Chicago.
I did.
So let's stop.
Okay.
Going on to Harpo Studio, you know that there's a waiting list to go to Oprah, right?
Yes,
There's people
a
wait
mile
for
long.
a mile long, and sometimes like I've tried to do it, and
Yeah.
it was like you had to do like a lottery or something. It takes
Yes.
forever.
Yes.
So what was this about? Harpo Studio, here I come.
Okay, so what happened was I had been watching along the way Oprah's, I think it was back then called Life Class.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yes, and I was just so inspired. I'm like, I want to go to Life Class.
Mm-hmm.
Why not? So I said, I'm just going to go and show up and see what happens.
Wow.
And that's exactly what I did.
So you ended up in Chicago.
Ended up in Chicago, got there about 3 a.m.
You drove. All this you're doing driving.
Driving, yes. And I had just enough gas to get to Chicago.
Oh, okay.
So I just made it.
Okay.
So I get there, and you get to the studio, and as you drive up, there's this huge poster of Oprah. Not even poster. It's like a side billboard. And I just stopped and was just in awe for a moment because it's Oprah. So I found somewhere to park, and I rested for a while because I'd been driving all night. And then at about 8 a.m., I saw a line forming. So I was like, let me just go get in line and see what happens, just because I can.
Right.
And no one stopped me.
You have a choice.
I have a choice. So I got in line, and it was for people that had tickets. That wasn't me. So I said to the lady, can I just wait and see? She was like, sure. Like, you won't
have
get
a
in,
choice.
but sure. Wait all day if you like. And so everyone goes in, they're seated, and it feels pretty hopeless at this point. It's like, it's not going to happen, but it was a nice try. But then she comes out, and she's like, you know what? We have a seat for you.
Wow.
So come on in. And it was like right in the middle. Oprah, Jan Van Zandt was her guest. Amazing show. And I was in. I got in
Wow.
because I just showed up.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
yeah.
So let me continue reading.
Okay, yeah.
I'm not the greatest reader. I hate reading out loud, but I'll continue.
Okay.
I have a choice.
Exactly. Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
Okay. So what I've learned during this part of this journey is trust myself. Trust the process. Trust the journey. It's all for my good. Then on August 13th, made it safe. Again, I'm just kind of going back. I made it safe and sound to Harpo Studio in Chicago. Rainy, but good trip. Took a bit longer because I kept stopping to look at shiny things along the way.
That's, yeah.
August 13, Harpo Studio, you wrote, I'm still here, no tickets yet, but they don't tape for another 6 hours. Then August 13, another entry you had here is, I am woohoo. I guess that's
You got it. Yes. Yes.
So I'm in. Woohoo!
Yeah.
I made it to live class at Harper Studio. Post coming later tonight.
Yeah.
What I learned on this part of the journey, all things really are possible. And that's what I loved about this is that you're chronicling your journey, but you're writing about the lessons that you learned along the way. Because really, all things are possible. I mean, who was thinking that they could show up at Harpo Studio and think that they're going to get in a seat?
Right.
So let me read the other piece.
Okay.
One of the things that you wrote, I won't go through all the details,
Okay.
and we'll show pictures. Do you still have pictures from that you have here?
I do.
We'll include it in the when we're
Okay.
doing the editing.
Okay.
But you wanted to have a picture with Oprah, but you didn't get to have that picture with Oprah. But you
Right.
wrote, I didn't have the big O moment, but my spirit is content. I followed my heart. I said all that to say, if there's something you want to do, do it. Don't sweat the details. Let the universe handle that. You can do it. You just have to believe in you. And you just have to believe you can. That's what you have here.
Yeah.
That I found. And I was just flipping through and reading little pieces. And this was a piece. And I'm like, this is so powerful.
Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you.
Wow. So since you have let's rewind a little bit, go
Sure,
forward a little
sure.
bit. So you've traveled all these different places. Were you finding your happiness during the time? Because you were homeless, you're to happiness. So were you finding your happiness through early?
I was.
Okay.
It was little moments like those, hundreds of those put together that kind of got me to my happiness.
Okay.
And it was finally in December. I remember it very clearly. It was my birthday week. December is in California at this point. Sitting in my car, $20 to my name still, different $20. And I was just so happy. I was so happy. Something came over me. I was just content and complete. I was good.
Okay. I love what you said.
Yeah.
You were content and you were complete. What did that look like? Because I think we can say we're happy, but I mean, happy is so subjective, and so people use that word so often.
Yes.
But so, what was that for you? What did it look like if I looked at Robin pre-happiness and when she's happy, what was that?
Here's the thing, I couldn't see it. If I looked in a mirror, it would be the same Robin. I couldn't see anything different. I still didn't have a home, still didn't have any money in my bank account, but in here felt really good, and that wasn't there before.
Right.
So what I learned was that my happiness for me isn't dependent upon anything external.
Wow.
Isn't based on what I do or don't have, who is with me or isn't with me, where I am, or it's always in here, and that can't be touched.
Wow. That is so powerful.
So once I got that was like, oh, it's good. I'm gonna be okay.
Wow.
So
you found your happiness.
I did.
And so so now you found what you were looking for, I guess.
I
Happiness.
found me, yeah.
Found you.
Yeah.
And realized that you were okay with you.
With me.
I'm okay the way I am.
Just as I am.
And that's so powerful within itself, because so often we're chasing all these using things and other stuff to actually find that happiness and to find ourselves, and I realize that we don't have to go anywhere.
Nope.
It's right here.
It's always right here. And everything else just adds to it, but doesn't take away or make it.
Wow.
So.
Wow. Yeah. So what have you been doing since? So, of course, you wrote your book.
Wrote the book. Yeah.
And the book tell us a little bit about the book. How did you write? Did you sit and think through everything, or how did you get the content for the book?
No, it was actually, they're all Facebook posts. Some are shorter, some are longer, as you can tell when you read through. But it wasn't a goal to write a book. At the end of it, I was like, I have 9 months worth of entries. Let me put them together, and it was actually a cohesive story. And then a friend to me said to me, I want to know what you were thinking. What was going on here? So I went back through and added my afterthoughts to each entry. So that's how the book came together.
Wow. Wow. That's so powerful. I'm telling you, it's really a good read.
Thank
and I don't
you.
think it's for me, a book like this is not something you just sit and read all at once.
No.
It's the different lessons, like when you talked about the Harpo, going to the Harpo student, and how that the whole process and trusting yourself.
Right.
And you think, and you, as a reader, I think I walk away with that and think about my own life. You know, how am I showing up? Am I being courageous? And am I believing in me that I can actually do whatever I want to do in life, that I have choices. So it gives you, to me, it gives you something to ponder. That's my way of actually looking at it, something to ponder.
Good.
So the road trip had ended. You found your happiness.
I did.
So what have you been doing since?
Since I've been just promoting the book, doing speaking engagements and tours, and that's about it. Just enjoying the moment, enjoying life.
Okay, that's great. So what other major lessons? So you shared one lesson that you learned from this journey, and I talked about some as I was reading. But can you share at least two others that you learn and you live your life by?
I learned to not be attached.
Oh, okay.
I got that lesson twice actually on the road. Hopefully I'm complete with it, but we'll see. So my first night out, I had forgotten all of my toiletries. So I stopped at Target, got a few things, went back, took my bag out of the car to put them in, and didn't put the bag back in the car. Just my mind was somewhere else.
Wow.
I had a lot going on.
You
I was somewhere else. And
you
so
weren't happy.
I didn't take a lot with me to begin with, but now what I did take, I had half of. So I was like, okay. And then my second thing was I put my things in storage when I left. But storage, they like to be paid every month. And I wasn't able to keep up with that. And so all of my things that I owned were sold.
Wow.
Everything, 20 years worth of book collections and things that I loved, my picture albums, gone in a matter of minutes.
Wow.
So it was to learn that it's not the things that matter, even though I miss them. It's the memories that they brought to me.
That's powerful.
So.
And any other?
Another would be how to be okay with not knowing what's coming next.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's a biggie.
To not always have to know or to have a plan or to understand and to just say, okay, I'm here.
That's giving me goosebumps because that's something I'm trying to figure out in my own head.
And I like to know.
Yeah.
How's this going to work? I need details here.
Yeah.
And sometimes there were no details to be had, and I had to be okay with that.
Right.
I didn't have to be okay with it. It made it easier.
Yeah, but you made a choice to be okay with it.
I made a choice.
Right. And that, that's so powerful because although I say this a lot, sometimes, my action doesn't follow up with it. Because I feel that, we're given a little piece at a time. If we're given the big picture at all at once, we're terrified already and we're fearful already. Can you imagine if we saw the full picture of what this was going to look like?
I'd run away.
Yeah, we'd run away, or we'll just you talk about being stuck.
Right.
It would be like,
yes,
Yeah. So you're right. Just go with the flow and just understand, just stay in the moment and enjoy that process.
I learned that to still take action while being surrendered to what is.
Wow.
So I can still, do what I can on my side.
Please?
It's to take action in the midst of surrender.
Okay.
So I can do what I can on my part, but after that I have to just let it go and trust and know that it's going to be all right.
Wow.
So,
wow.
Yeah.
So what would you, if you had to share with our viewers, people who are watching, believe me, there are a lot of people who are stuck, who are feeling unhappy and don't know how to find that. People who don't know who they are. They're trying to say, I don't like this about myself. I don't like that about myself. I don't like anything about myself. They're so focused on doing that time is just passing by.
Right.
And that's time you can't get back.
No.
That's time you can't get back. I was watching, in fact, something from Steve Harvey the other day, and it was a little animation that he did, and he was talking about where he started and where he is now. And sorry, Steve, you love crying, but
I love Steve. Yeah, yeah.
But you're just being you. Yeah. And Steve mentioned he was just, he teared up and he said, where he was, there's no way in his is natural. Could he ever thought that he would have accomplished what he has accomplished thus far in his life,
Yeah.
And he's saying it's about stepping out in faith, and it's not about religion or anything. So it's being a spiritual thing. He was saying it's that stepping out in faith, and stepping out in faith, doors open that you would never know or expect that would open. Yeah. He talked about being on Faith Street. There's a package for you. All of us, there's a package waiting for us.
Oh, I like that.
And it's going down Faith Street.
Yeah.
But most of the time we are on Fair Street, or we are on Fair and give me another thing that hold us back. Self-doubt.
Self-doubt.
Yeah, there's all these different streets that are there, and we, instead of staying on Faith Street for the package that's there for us, we are all these different streets, and the package is on its way, going where it has, passing you by.
Yep.
And if we just stay on Faith Street, no matter what is happening, there are doors that we will be able to eventually get that gift that's there for us.
They'll be flung wide open.
Wide open.
Yes.
Yes. So so for you, what message would you have for our viewers who are watching? What was one thing, if anything, out of everything that you have learned on this journey from homelessness to happiness? What would you share with our viewers?
I think that their lives are really their own. It's not about what has or hasn't happened. The choice begins right now. And what you do from this moment now forward is what counts.
Wow.
All the past, not so much.
Wow.
So there's always time. As long as we're still here and have breath, there's always a chance to make a new choice.
Right.
Never too late.
That is so powerful.
So,
time goes by when you're having fun.
It does.
Because this was really a great conversation, and I learned so much hearing what you were saying, but also kind of thinking in the back of my mind in terms of some of lessons you learned, in terms of my own life and so forth. I really appreciate you coming and sharing this with us.
Thank you for having me here.
Oh, please. That's what I wish we could have more time
Me
together. But how can people get your book?
So they can go on my website if they want a signed copy, robindivine.com. Look at you. Okay.
Yeah, you can talk to me.
Okay. Or they can go to Amazon. I'm on there as well.
Okay, and the name of the book again is?
Road Trip to Freedom, From Homelessness to Happiness.
Okay, perfect.
By Robin Divine. Yes.
I really, really, really encourage you to get a copy of this book. And as Robin said, she's doing speaking engagements that, she would love to come in and talk about this journey.
I would.
And just have a dialogue with individuals. Because, we think that we're all separate, but we're all going on this journey. We have our own respective journeys, and we can learn from each other.
Yes.
So, Robin, again, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Faith.
And to my viewers, thank you for watching. And until next time, think positively.